The big story in the United States is Vice President-elect Joe Biden, what do we call him? Now, for the fact checkers out there, technically, Joe Biden is not president-elect because the media doesn't get to call elections. There's still a legal challenge in the process, and Trump has not conceded. So anyone who calls Joe Biden president-elect should be fact-checked by the Facebook fact-checkers. But they're not being fact-checked. No, they're not being fact-checked. How strange that is. But you know who is being fact-checked? Project Veritas. And anyone who's, showing videos of actual election fraud. Now, I'm going to give it to you straight. Odds are Trump's not going to win these legal challenges, okay? I wish he would. I'm going to explain why a Joe Biden presidency could be cataclysmic for global stability. I hope Trump prevails, but I don't think it is likely. However, Joe Biden currently is not president-elect. He's still Vice President Biden. But you know who's getting fact-checked? Project Veritas. So I'm going to set up this video that we're about to see, because this is Project Veritas whistleblower from the UPS Postal Service in Pennsylvania. And one of the things they did, and one of the fact checks, is the Washington Post ran a story that this whistleblower actually recanted his story, that the whole Project Veritas thing was fake, and this guy recanted the story. Now, Project Veritas has videos and evidence saying, no, he never recanted. But here, I'm going to show you a video of the whistleblower talking about the Washington Post, saying, no, I never retracted. And as far as I know, the Washington Post story has not been retracted yet and has not been fact-checked. Let's roll the tape.
My name is Richard Hopkins. I am the postal employee who came out and whistle blew on the Erie, PA Postal Service, postal office. I am right at this very moment looking at an article written by Washington Post. It says that I fabricated the allegations of ballot tampering. I'm here to say that I did not recant my statements. That did not happen. That is not what happened. And you will find out tomorrow. And I would like that the Washington Post recant their wonderful little article that they decided to throw out there out of random.
So will the Washington Post Facebook page, Twitter page be hit with a fact check? Be hit with a restriction use? You shared fake news? Clearly that was a lie. They lied. They said this man retracted his story. He said he did not retract his story. I've also seen the Project Veritas tapes. I suggest you follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and whatever. They have tapes of the whistleblower being interrogated and coerced into changing his story by federal agents. Now, maybe this guy is lying. Maybe his affidavit is false. Maybe he's a Trump supporter just looking for his 15 minutes of fame. Maybe. Maybe, we don't know. We can settle this in court. But what is fake news? What is definitively 100% maliciously created fake news is the Washington Post story that he recanted. And the reason I brought up that specific video, not the other ones, because, that's a lie from the Washington Post. They lied. There's video evidence. He did not recant. They said he recanted. He said he did not recant. Therefore, he did not recant. Washington Post hasn't taken it down, right? And they have not been hit with a fact check like I have for even just saying, I've been hit with fact checks for sharing stories even saying nothing official yet, but here's what people are saying about stuff in Wisconsin. Fact check. It's like, well, yeah, I preface this with everyone hold your horses and don't hold out, but look at this. More to come later. Still fact checked. Daniel's fake news. Fake news dark web Daniel. Back at it again. So, we have a threat to democracy called Donald Trump and Russiagate, okay? Do you remember Russiagate? There was a theory, some say conspiracy theory, that the 2016 election was invalid because of Russiagate. Now, people just said Russia, and it was never really explained. Now, I usually say that they usually explain the conservative controversies in detail so people understand them and get more angry with them, like in SNC-Lavalin, how they didn't explain the liberal scandal there because they didn't want people to understand it. They wanted to portray this sort of, oh, it's too complicated for you to understand. The reason they did not ever fully explain the Russiagate scandal is because I'm going to do it for you right now. This is Russiagate, folks. In 2016, The election was stolen from the most brilliant, beautiful person ever, Hillary Clinton, who deserved to win because she was so competent and so qualified, except don't look at that email thing, but she was so competent and so qualified. And she was going to win in a landslide, wide in the battlefield. But, there was a nefarious thing at play, and that was Vladimir Putin, who didn't like Hillary because Hillary loves America, except when she entered the Iran deal and all that. But Hillary loves America more than anything, okay? And Hillary was going to win, and the only reason people didn't vote for Hillary the Magnificent is Vladimir Putin. What did he do? He created Russian Facebook bots. And these Russian Facebook bots went onto Facebook and they posted things that were against Hillary Clinton. And good, kind-hearted Americans were fooled by these Russian Facebook bots. They were ready to vote for Hillary in droves. Hillary was going to win 97% of the vote. 97% of the vote. Hillary was going to win. But then people saw these Facebook posts made by the Russians. And these Russian Facebook posts, they got into the minds of the American people and they corrupted them. And thus they voted for Donald Trump. Oh, the horror. Oh, the horror. This was actually Russiagate. This is what the Russian Facebook bots. What? Yes, this was the claim. At least Trump's claim of voter fraud make a semblance of sense. Listen, I think he'll have trouble proving it in court because there needs to be a lot of evidence. You need different states. You need Democrat judges to go along with it. But Donald Trump's claims are there were glitches in the system, right? Widespread voter fraud. So glitches in the system, people who voted for Trump, those votes were changed for Biden, or people who were dead were being enrolled to vote and there was illegally votes cast. Donald Trump's claim makes sense. Is that votes were illegally cast or votes were switched from Trump to Biden. That's how the election was interfered with. Votes were changed, therefore that's why the votes are incorrect. Hillary Clinton's claim, CNN's claim, Rachel Maddow's claim, was that Russian Facebook bots made Facebook posts, and because Facebook posts made by Russians happened, somehow the election is illegitimate. Was that ever fact-checked? Ever. Even after 2017, 2018, when we had exculpatory evidence showing that no, there was no Russian collusion. None. Even after exculpatory evidence was available, never once was CNN, MSNBC, or any of these clowns ever fact-checked. And again, the Russia conspiracy is Donald Trump was elected president because the Russians made lots of Facebook posts. James Comey's testimony, even though it also provided some exculpatory evidence towards Trump, was 24-hour news, live coverage. James, there's even a friggin' TV show on HBO or Crave or Showtime or whatever it is, The Comey Rule. Jeff Daniels is James Comey, the most heroic FBI agent ever, who lied under oath and used illegally FISA warrants. Do you understand why everyone's going crazy? Do you understand why this is why we can't have nice things, okay? And my advice to the people on the left, and I say this because again, I have brilliant family members who are on the left, and I love them, okay? But I have to listen to them on Friday night dinners talk about how Trump's claims of voter fraud are undermining the American election. Suck it up, Buttercup. Suck it up. Suck it the hell up. Because, listen, I didn't like the Russia thing. I'd rather this go smoothly. I'd rather we all have faith in the institutions. But you cannot, for 4 years, 4 long years, in the face of evidence being provided that disproved your position, scream, Russia, 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 Russia. American elections had no integrity. It was hacked by the Russians. Russians make Facebook posts, and therefore the American election system is illegitimate. Trump's not my president, not my president, not my president. For 4 years, you can't play this nonsense. Your punishment for the last 4 years of your insanity, telling me that Russian Facebook posts denied Hillary Clinton the presidency, your punishment is you have to spend the next 2 months playing along with Donald Trump's court claims. That's your punishment. For the next 2 months, you have to say, hey, Donald Trump has the right to challenge these results in the court of law, right? And with multiple sworn affidavits and videos coming out that show, listen, I have seen evidence of voter fraud with my own eyes. I've seen the video where the guy looks at the vote thing, shows you it's a Trump vote, rips it up, throws it over his shoulder. So yeah, there's 3 votes right there. Probably he could have affected hundreds himself. However, that gets you to 100, right? You don't know what county he's in. If it's in Pennsylvania, he's still losing Pennsylvania for 35,000. Now, if you see like 20,000 here, dead people voted, and they can prove, okay, this, the Dominion voting system, here, here's, okay, we're recounting. We're gonna go to the cemetery, see how many dead people voted for Biden. I just saw a thing, I'm not sure if it's true, that, in one Pennsylvania county, there was 3,500 people, 90 and above, registered to vote, but there was over 11,500 people over 90 who voted, which means some of them were, right? After we go through this, right, if it gets shut down by a court of law, if the legal challenges are unsuccessful, then Joe Biden is president-elect. January 20th, Joe Biden is president. Okay? That's the deal. But if you ever said Russiagate, you talked about Trump being in bed with the Russians, you talked about the Russians influencing our election, at any point, and let's say in the last 3 years, I'll give you the first year free. If any time since 2017 you push the Russia conspiracy nonsense in the face of countervailing evidence, when we had evidence to CNN, the Van Jones kind of, I'm like, yeah, it's a nothing burger, we're just pushing the story. If you push that conspiracy theory, you don't get to say anything until all the court cases are done. That's your punishment. That's your punishment. You just got to listen to this play out in court, and that's what you got to do. Now, as I said, do I think Donald Trump's going to come out on top here? No, I don't. I think he has to go through too many Democratic judges. I think it's an incredible burden of proof he's going to have to do. Does he have a shot? Yes. Do I hope he wins? Yes. Do I think the chances are over 10% he remains president? No. Will I be happy to be proven wrong? Yes. But that's where we are now. But is it a 0% chance? No. Is it over? No. And you can't, you can't push the Russia conspiracy thing and then say no. And also, Twitter, Facebook, fact check the Washington Post. They just lied. I showed you the video. That video, if you look at Project Veritas' Twitter, it says like, this is disputed. And then they have a thing saying, and their disputed thing, and the reason they fact check that video is they link to a thing saying, experts say voter fraud is very rare. No, we don't have any evidence, but we just say voter fraud and election interference is very rare. Oh, really? Where was that on all the Russiagate stuff? Again, Russia. Okay.